golden age. The president's about to embark on a visit to western North Carolina and Southern California. He'll tour the storm devastation in western North Carolina and the wildfire disaster in Los Angeles County. The president says there will be an appeal of a judge's ruling blocking his bid to end birthright citizenship. More details at srnnews.com.
You know, the new year is a great time to reconsider how we do things, like how to make things better in 2025. Like when it comes to the whole struggle of how to pay for your health care, people generally are not happy with the status quo. But there's good news. There's a much better option, and it's proven too. MediShare is refreshing. You can save thousands of dollars a year. Many save up to $500 a month, seriously. And you get to choose from a huge network of doctors and providers. And maybe the best part, and we know this from research on why people join MediShare, they love this. Instead of sending your money every month to a huge corporation that might fund all sorts of procedures or things you don't believe in, you're joining a faith-based network of people who actually care about each other. And like I said, that's refreshing. There is a better option. You don't have to do it the way you've always done it. You can make a change and start saving now. Here's the number. They're easy to talk to. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Rocket 102.5.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Ample sunshine expected today with daytime highs approaching 47. Westerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to around 20 tonight. Mainly cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 33 tomorrow. Cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 36 Sunday under mainly sunny skies. 52 Monday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 50 Tuesday, 48 Wednesday, and 45 on Thursday. Another look at the short range. We should top out at 47 today, a low of 20 tonight, a high of 33 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently 12.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Midea 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 1/13 through 1/24. Cannot be combined with additional discounts while supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Drive into the new year with incredible deals at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Right now, get a $3,000 total cash allowance on the 24 Chevy Suburban or take home a 25 Chevy Equinox with 2.9% APR financing, plus no payments for 90 days when you finance with GM Financial. Looking for a truck? Get 0% APR on the 24 GMC Sierra 1500 with a 5.3-liter engine for well-qualified buyers and score $3,250 when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
With 9 locations across Northwest Kansas, the High Plains Co-op continues to stand with you, giving you the service you need and deserve. They're here for all of your grain, feed, and fuel needs, as well as helping you manage the marketing and crop insurance sector with their HPC risk management program. Visit them online at high-plainscoop.com to get the latest markets, ag news, and information, or call them today at 785-462-3351. That's 462-3351. Continuing to stand with you is the High Plains Co-op.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery, ingestion, and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out their great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Max Gershon.
Look at their schedule, folks. They played no one, and they never do to start the year until they play Kansas. They get these Mickey Mouse wins out of their ways.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Rocket 102.5 and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover, back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with the insurance agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Double bounce pass ahead to Lauren Linton. Pass right side, 3-ball for Hope Bierman. Oh, it's good. Cowgirls off to a great start from deep. They've connected on both triples. Rebound, Schlosser's on the floor fighting for it, and he gets the board. Out to Brumbaugh for 3. He hits another. A dozen for Brady Brumbaugh. He's connected on 4 of them here tonight. Bounce pass and a sloppy one at that from Luke Wright. Intercepted and off the backboard, an alley-oop from Mulder Cure.
White up the right side of the court, wearing the white headband. Into the lane. Layup. Got it. Spinning down the lane. Counted in 1.
Yama too strong on the 3. Champagne the rebound. Victor steps through off the back.
Oh!
To himself. Sefu Victor.
Jokic going to throw it up from.
Got it.
Oh my! Nikola Jokic! All the way from Sombor.
Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. We're back on the Morning Blitz on Rocket 102.5, NWKSradio.net, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Glad you could join us here on this Friday, January the 24th. Sun coming up. High going to be currently sitting at 21 degrees, an expected high, though, of 48 here on this Friday. Working our way up the thermometer here, getting more into Max's neck of the woods for temperature at least. We're still halfway there, but we're halfway from 48. You want it to be 100?
Oh, 48. I thought you said 20.
Well, it's 21 right now.
I see.
I guess you're right. You're right, and I'm right. I'm speaking more on the fact of we're working our way up throughout the week. You know, we were at 18, I think, at one point in time for a high this week. So, you know,
I just want to let's get to 60. Can we get to 60?
Once again, I say you got to hold off till about May, then you'll be there. You know, got to push through April. April's cold and damp. So, well, damp to an extent. I don't want to say it's super damp. It can be. But nonetheless, pushing our way through. I hope everyone's having a great start to your Friday morning. We got a full show ahead today. We'll look ahead to what's coming up this weekend in college basketball. We'll talk plenty of NFL in segment 2. Been a question that's come across the F&B Bank text line a couple of times, and also from producer Grandpa Gershon that we will address coming up here in segment 2 when it comes to talking about the Bills and the Chiefs. So we'll talk NFL in segment 2, and we got plenty more to get to as well. Of course, talking high school basketball. How was the first night of the Orange and Black Classic from the Max Gershon perspective?
It was great. It was great. A lot of people there, and it really showed when I go to the concessions in between games. I play the pregame show, and I usually go grab some food. And that was I made it in just a close call. I'll say that it was a close call getting back to my seat, with probably 4 minutes to spare until the next game. But it was great. 2 great showings from the Eagles, and can't complain. It was a fun time.
Yeah, good start to the Orange and Black Classic. Always a fun tournament to go to. Real quickly, we'll just go through the brackets here, and starting with the women's side of the bracket. Colby gets a win over Olathe East, 63-30. Max can expand upon that in a moment. Beloit takes care of Ulysses, 69-35. Wellington over Concordia, 74-24. And Hayes beat Goodland 54-31. That sets up today's matchups of Colby Beloit and Wellington Hayes in the championship semifinals. And folks, that you might want to be there early. If you can get there at 3:00 to watch Wellington Hayes, I think it's going to be worth the price of admission. Those are 2 very good basketball teams with some star power on them. Britt Zika from Wellington, who's going to go play at Fort Hays State. Shout out to Fort Hays State. They recruit all the good girl basketball players at kind of the mid and lower levels. They've done a great job that for the last few years. So Britt Zika for Wellington, and Hayes has got a superstar freshman. Jenna Schmeidler, got to see her for the first time last night. She's a star. And they've got some other really good players as well. A lot of depth. I mean, I think they go 10, 11 deep, and they can all play ball for Hayes. So that's a game I think if you can get there early, do it. I think it'll be really entertaining. And then the consolation semifinals, you got Olathe East and Ulysses on one side of the bracket, Concordia Goodland on the opposite side. So let's just stick with this. What thoughts on the Olathe East win last night for the Lady Eagles? It was tight. It was close at halftime. There was only a 10-point game at half, right?
It was a 10-point game at half, and I think the Lady Eagles won the third quarter about 17-2, 15-2, something in that range, and they didn't score a point until under a minute left in the quarter. So that really is what separated these 2 teams. But really, in reality, the difference maker in this game was offensive rebounding and turnovers forced defensively. Bryn Stanley was fantastic on the board, but also a big part of this game, Ross, was that Elizabeth Barton and Shaylee Holzmeister both got in foul trouble early in this game. They had both had 2 or 3 fouls in the first and second quarter. Holzmeister really didn't play for the majority of the first half. Barton didn't play for the majority of the second quarter. But then you had girls like Emily Flanagan and Maddie McCarty and Harper Vaughn and who am I missing in that list? Sadie Cheney stepping up and scoring points off the bench. You saw Logan Nolan, being more aggressive in the second quarter. And that was really good to see that there is some really solid depth at the bottom of the bench for Coach Walker that was utilized pretty perfectly in that win against Olathe East last night. So that was great. But also, I mean, the biggest thing was they forced 22 turnovers against Olathe East. And I mean, I know Olathe East really isn't the best of teams that can come out from out east, but anytime you're playing a team from Olathe or anywhere back in Kansas City, they play tough competition a lot. So, they're going to be prepared for teams out here. So I was just super impressed to see the Lady Eagles win 63-30. And Elizabeth Barton did finish that game as the top scorer. She had, 23, even without playing for a lot of the second quarter. And then she missed, I would say, about 5-6 minutes in the second half as well. So she, again, was fantastic.
That's her biggest bugaboo. It just truly is. And that changes the perspective for Colby. If Elizabeth Barton picks up 2 quick fouls in a basketball game, it changes a lot for that team. It really does.
She really hadn't been in foul trouble.
I know, and that's a credit to her. She's really cleaned that up over the last couple of years. But her first couple of years, she was a good player too as freshman, sophomore, but she struggled with foul trouble, and so she would sit for a majority of the time. And she still plays an aggressive style, but she's gotten a little bit more crafty about it.
She's averaging 4 steals a game. She had 5 last night. So, I mean, she's going to stay aggressive. There was a couple fouls that I was like, I'm not too sure if I agree, but she continues to play well, and so does really everyone. And I think Coach Walker was really pleased with how the bench performed last night, and I asked him after if he gained trust for the bench group, and he said he absolutely did, because they really stepped up in that second quarter when they were needed. So props to Lady Eagles with another win.
Well, it'll be a step up in competition tonight. Beloit's a very good program. Yep. Got a lot of good depth on their team. That'll be a very interesting game. That game will tip at 6:30 Central Time, and of course the main gym there at the event center. Last night, the Goodland Cowgirls lost to Hayes 54-31. Goodland led 9-6 early in this game, knocked down a couple of threes, had some early momentum, then got some foul trouble. Libby Cure and Hope Bierman both picked up a couple of early fouls that put them on the bench, and then Hayes would close out the first half on a 20-4 run, putting themselves up pretty comfortably at halftime, and Hayes would kind of pull away slowly, outscoring the Cowgirls a little bit each quarter. But a feather in the cap to the Cowgirls. I thought they played with great effort pretty much the entire game. Bill Berman agreed. And Goodland, held Hayes to their lowest offensive total of the season, 54 points. And I think that's something you ought to be proud about as well. They forced some turnovers, but Hayes' depth is really good. Like I said, they go 9, 10, 11 deep, and they can all play. Jenna Schmeidler is a phenomenal point guard who can really score it. They've got like 4 bigs that they can play that are all 5'11" or taller and really are skilled, including the Linenberger girl. So very, very good team in Hayes. I did not expect Goodland to get the win last night going into it, but I thought they hung around and played tough. And so a feather in the cap to them, even though it was a loss. I think it was a very competitive loss. And now they'll take on a Concordia team here in the consolation semifinals, which I think will be a much more evenly matched contest. And we'll see if Goodland can put it together on the girls' side of the bracket. So once again, your semifinals tonight on the championship side of the bracket: Colby Beloit, and it'll be at 6:30 in the main gym. Wellington Hayes, that's at 3:00 in the main gym. That once again is going to be a dandy of a basketball game. And then the consolation semifinals, you've got Olathe East and Ulysses, Concordia and Goodland on the opposite side. So there's your look at your girls' bracket. On the boys' side, last night's first round results: Colby over Beloit 66-48. Congratulations to Guy Tubbs, 1,000 career points. There's a lot of people eclipsing that. Of course, we had Brady Brumbaugh not too long ago. We had not only did Guy go over 1,000 last night, so did Jackson Rumford. He went over 1,000 points. So a lot of these athletes we've seen over the course of the last few years eclipsing the 1,000-point mark for their respected schools. Also last night, Hayes over Concordia, 51-31. That's a really good win for Hayes. Concordia is a top 10 ranked team in their classification, but Hayes gets it done by 20. Goodland takes care of Pine Creek 62-50. It was a 21-point game at one point in time, but Pine Creek just kept jacking threes, as they like to do, and made it a 12-point loss for the Eagles while Goodland advances. And then Olathe North beats Ulysses 81-31 to set up today's matchups of Colby Hayes and Goodland Olathe North on the championship side of the bracket. And then on the consolation side, Beloit Concordia, Pine Creek Ulysses. 66-48, Colby over Beloit. What are your thoughts on the boys?
Well, first off, again, congrats to Guy Tubbs. It's definitely a moment he'll never forget, not only because he scored 1,000 points, but immediately after. So he scored his 1,000th point on an and one opportunity. Okay, so they announced in the stadium, he gets to the free throw line, and he airballed the free throw right after he scored 1,000 points. It was hysterical. He put his hands on his head. It was really funny. It was really fun. I haven't had a chance.
That'll be a great. He's going to hate that for a while, and they're going to pick about that forever. His buddies will, but that's great. He will never forget that.
Oh, never.
I got 1,000 points and I airballed the free throw after the and one. That's
hilarious.
Great.
It was
that's
great.
Hilarious.
It was an awesome moment. And it was great to see him and all of his family celebrating after, and they got the poster. And great. The even better part was that it came after a win. Look, this is this right here. You know what this means, right, Ross? This is the Royals kind of slogan.
The boys are playing some ball. Yes.
The Colby boys basketball team are playing some ball for sure right now. I mean, Beloit is a good basketball team. I think you knew that going into this game, and I was kind of surprised at the final score of this game of 66-48. I would love to know your thoughts about what you thought going into these two teams playing each other.
I hadn't seen Beloit play, and so I don't know. And they were really good last year. They knocked out Colby in the semifinals last year of this Orange and Black Classic.
Right.
Beloit had a really tall kid and a Beisner kid. They had a couple of other very talented pieces on that team. They were very senior laden. And so they got off to a slow start I saw this year, which I thought was a little bit of a surprise because they're still very well coached. but then they had rattled off. I don't know. You would know better. I think they rattled off 6 straight wins coming into this tournament or something. They played very well. So I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I'm just by intuition says Beloit's a talented team, but a young team a little bit. And that maybe resulted in, and by young, I mean maybe inexperienced at the varsity level.
Yeah.
And so I guess it wasn't a total shock to me that I'm not surprised that Colby won. Yes, maybe the point differential was, I could maybe see Beloit getting it within 10 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was another one that was close to the beginning, and then big third quarter, big fourth quarter really led Colby to what the final score was. You had Braden Foss with 5, Carroll with 5, Guy Tubbs with 12. Another guy that got into foul trouble early was Guy Tubbs. So you actually saw Coben Curry. We expanded to a 7-man rotation. Coben got in the game for, I mean, probably 2 or 3 minutes, but he got in.
Coben.
Max Kirstenbrock with 9. He's been so impressive to watch develop this year off the bench. Max has. Grant Stevens knocked down 3 threes, which is always a plus when he can hit his shots. And then Jordan Jones with 26 points. When he is going downhill on a fast break, he is so fast and he is so creative when he gets to the hoop. It is very hard for anyone, no matter how, if they're taller, bigger, stronger, it's so hard for anyone to stop it. And he really exploited that last night, as well as hitting a couple threes. And it's just really fun to watch him play offense. And yeah, it was another great win. They're playing their best basketball right now. And it's gonna be fun to watch this matchup tonight against Hayes. It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, Hayes will be a tough challenge. They've got size, athleticism. They play at that 5A level. They play at a very high pace. That'll be a challenge. But I think this game will be very good. I don't know who will win. I haven't seen Hayes play, but I think it will be a competitive game.
I agree.
We'll see who happens to pull it out when it's all said and done. Goodland took on Pine Creek. It was funny. Pine Creek comes out, and we knew everyone and their dog knew that Pine Creek shot the 3-ball a lot. I mean, they attempted over 300 coming in tonight. They get the first shot. Their first, 5 shots for all threes. I mean, and the first one was Blake Marshall, who's there on a bench, an all-stater, and he lived up to the billing. He had 29 points last night. He could splash it, and not just from three-point land. I'm talking from deep three-point land. I'm talking like 6 feet behind the line three-point land. And he hit one of those right out of the gate, boom, and they were up 3-0. I'm like, oh, here we go. This will be interesting. Well, the Cowboys proceeded to go on a 19-0 run and pretty much put the game away in the first quarter. They're up 19-3. That even shocked Coach Dahl, who sat down with me post-game. He's like, whoa, we were up 19-3. I said, yeah, 19-0 run. How about that? So it caught him off guard. And the Cowboys, by early in the third quarter, were up 21. I think it was 43-22 they led. And then credit to Pine Creek, they kept attacking, they kept driving, they kept kicking out for threes, and they hit a few of them. And because of it, it got down to a 12-point game. The score was probably not as close score was close to what the game kind of was. But the Cowboys, they were the more superior team, complete team. Goodland did hit 8 threes, which tied a season high. That's good to see. The Cowboys have not shot the 3-ball as well as they did last year, but they knocked down some threes. Brady Brumbaugh had 4 of them. Lincoln Cure canned a triple. Braylon Mole had a steal, as you heard on the intro, a steal and an alley-oop dunk off the backboard to Lincoln Cure, which was pretty sweet. And Lincoln Cure the thing was, I got to sit on the floor. I don't usually get to sit on the floor. So I got to sit on the floor, which I love as a broadcaster. I think it's great. And I know some broadcasters are like, well, I hate having to look around the officials. I don't care. I love being down next to the bench so I can hear the coaches, because I think it's hilarious. There was a moment in the girls' game where Bill Bierman had been looking for a call, didn't get it, and then he finally got it, and he's like, way to go. Great call. That's awesome. I love the call. Amazing. It was funny. I love that stuff. And so it's funny. And so you get to see the game on a perspective from the floor. And so you're watching Lincoln Cure just jump. And I know he could do this. I've seen him play for me, but just jump and float in the air and grab these rebounds. I mean, there was a scout there last night, not a scout, or a college coach from Nebraska Wesleyan, which is up in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's a NAIA Division III school. And anyway, they were there recruiting the Marshall kid from Pine Creek. And anyway, I overheard the conversation between him and Coach Dahl. I said, boy, it sure helps to have a Division I athlete team. That kid is unbelievable. And I'm sure everyone's, yeah, you're right. He's unbelievable. And he had his third career double-double. He had 17 and 11. Brady Brumbaugh had 19. Right around his season average. He was, I don't like to know. It's not like I don't want to talk about Brady. He's just what he does what he does. But Cowboys really rebounded the ball well. Zach Thorson had a career high. Barrett Schlosser played great. He had 7 and 7, I think, last night. He was really good. The Cowboys really did a great job rebounding the basketball. They stayed within themselves, and that's what you had to do in order to beat Pine Creek. And now they get a chance to face off against Olathe North, who I know is superiorly talented, is very, very talented. I'm not saying they're any better than the Cowboys. I thought last year Goodland hung with them pretty well. Olathe North kind of pulled away late to get that win in the same exact matchup last year. So this year, I think it's on the Cowboys' minds. They want to get this win. They want to play for that orange and black title game. They've never won an orange and black championship in the history of coming here over 20 plus years. They've never done it. And so I know that's a goal that they would love to accomplish, but they got to get past Olathe North, and that'll certainly be a challenge. The toughest thing for Goodland against Olathe North is that Goodland most of the time steps on the floor, and they are a superior athletic team compared to their opponents. Probably will not be the case. They'll be on an even playing field with Olathe North, and that's the thing to overcome.
I'm almost more excited for that game than both the Colby games, if I'm being honest. That's going to be so fun.
You can watch it, can't you? You can watch it because you get the 2 late games.
I'm gonna get there close to around the start of the game, maybe midway through the first quarter, and I'm excited to see. You can see your spot. I was gonna say, I already knew. I was thinking about, like, should I offer the spot? But I know he's gonna take it regardless. So no,
I'm just gonna take that spot, and that way it's reserved for you.
That's also true. But Olathe doesn't even have a broadcaster.
I guess that's
they didn't bring any broadcasters.
That's true. Well, nonetheless, great first round of the Orange and Black Classic. Once again, boys matchups today. It'll start off with 4:45 games. You've got Goodland, Olathe North in the main gym, Pine Creek, Ulysses in the auxiliary gym. And then the late games tonight at 8:15 Central. Colby Hayes on the champion side of the bracket, Beloit Concordia on the consolation side, which that Beloit Concordia game could be pretty good too. That could be a good contest tonight. So anyway, there you go. That's a look at the Orange and Black Classic Day 2 coming at you today. Starting once again, if you can get there early, I'd say you want to be there for the whole day because there's great games in every time slot. Starting at 3 o'clock with Wellington Hayes girls. That will be a dandy of a
I enjoyed watching Wellington because they played on the main gym before the Lady Eagles did, and I enjoyed watching them. They have a fun coach, and they've got a good squad.
I great hair. Doesn't he have that long kind of gray flowing hair? Great hair.
Yeah, it's always great when I think that's a great style for a coach when you can still have, you're older, but you still have the full head of slick back hair. It's always a sign that you're a good basketball coach, in my opinion. I don't think there's any research.
Who else has that hair that you can think of off the top of your head? You make it sound like as if it's a typical look. I don't know. That's one thing that sticks out to me about it.
Yeah, you're right. You might be right.
Nonetheless, anyway.
Oh, but NBA. I mean, Quinn Snyder is a guy that has.
There you go. Now that is a good poll. Quinn Snyder does have the great slick back hair.
He's got the great slick back hair. There's something about that that's intimidating.
You're gonna hate me, but I loved Quinn Snyder when he was at Mizzou.
When was he at Mizzou? How long ago?
It was a while ago.
Yeah,
God,
so there's no reason.
Late 90s, early 2000s, Quinn Snyder was there.
Yeah, look, I'm a big Donovan Mitchell fan, so I love Quinn Snyder when he was the Jazz head coach with Donovan. So I have some love for Quinn.
Okay,
but slick back.
Anyway, let's move on. There's some other high school basketball going on today and went on last night. Oakley boys with an upset of Ellis. Oakley was the 8 seed in the Mid-Continent League tournament. They took down the 5 seed Ellis, and Bill Bierman chimes in on the FB Bank text line, says we have to make fun of the guys without any hair. We're not making fun of guys without hair, Bill. We're not. We're just crediting the guys that have big, slick back hair. That's all.
There's more guys without hair, so the guys with hair don't get a lot of credit sometimes. I think that's a true fact.
Treatments, Bill. You don't need to go get hair treatments. You don't need to do that. You're beautiful the way you are, Bill. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Men without hair are just as beautiful.
My dad doesn't have hair. I'm not going to have hair.
You're not going to have hair either.
There's no chance I'm going to have hair.
It's leaving.
It's gone soon.
I have been blessed. Both of the. I think it comes from like your grandfather's side. So
I think it's your mom's dad.
Side, your mom's
so
dad.
I'm toast.
So, and it didn't matter. Both of my grandparents, my grandfathers have great hair. And so I'm feeling very good about myself going forward. But I do feel bad for those who are follically challenged.
I'm cooked. In every way you look at my family tree, I'm cooked. There's no chance. That this hair, that's why I keep it long the way it is sometimes, because I'm like, it's not gonna last forever. It won't. But hopefully there's some technology that can
Maybe
save
there
it.
will be. And you know what? You've got to be careful there. And you got to know when to give up and you got to know when to keep going. That's the thing.
True.
That's where most people make the mistake, is
True.
where you don't know where to just give up on it, and you don't know when you just like, we got to give up on it or we're going to keep battling with it.
You're 100% right.
Rest in peace, Curtis Duncan. He did not know when to give up on it. That was the thing. He did not know when to give up on it. All right. Moving on. Basketball last time. Actually, Oakley Plainsmen. Congratulations. A big win last night over Ellis, 48-46. Plainsmen will face TMP in the consolation semifinals on Saturday. Tonight, you get Hoxie Smith Center in a championship semifinal and Oakley Peaburg in the other. Boy, it'd be cool if we could see Hoxie and Oakley square off for a Mid-Con League title. We will see if that happens tonight with the semifinals. It's also semifinals today of the Northwest Kansas League tournament up in Oberlin. Girls championship matchups. You've got Wallace County, Greeley County, Rollins County, Quinter. On the opposite side of the consolation matchup, St. Francis, Decatur Community, Nest City, Dighton. Boys championships semifinals. Wallace County, Greeley County, Dighton, and Quinter. And that Dighton-Quinter game will be a very interesting game. So will the Wallace County game, but that Dighton-Quinter game is interesting. There's some really good players, good star talent on both those teams. And then St. Francis, Decatur Community, and Nest City, Rollins County in the boys consolation semifinals. And then a couple of other games tonight, non-tournament games. You've got Weskin hosting Golden Plains and Shiloh hosting Tri-Plains Brewster. By the way, we've talked about 1,000 career point score. Shout out to Trey Allen, the leading scorer in the state of Kansas. 1,500 career points in their last game for Trey Allen. So congratulations to him. God, a lot of guys racking up the points. The three-point shot has helped that become a way more attainable deal, obviously.
Well, Guy's not really a three-point shooter. He's got a
I
band.
will give Guy a lot of credit. That's what I give him a lot of credit for. He's not. You know me. I love Guy Tubbs.
I do.
I love the way he plays. He's an old man in a young man's body, and I love it. Guy, don't change. Please, don't change. An old man in a young man's body, and I love it. Before we get to break, real quickly, I want to shout out wrestling. Colby boys won at Norton last night in a duel, 43-22. They and Colby, I believe, go to Beloit for a wrestling invitational, a challenging tournament they'll be at. Big tournament this weekend in St. Francis with a lot of area teams attending that. And then multiplayer teams also going to the Bob Kuhn Prairie Classic in Hayes. I actually saw the Goodland wrestlers going to that. They were right in front of me as I was coming to the station this morning. So good luck to the Cowboys and the Plainsmen and all the other area teams going to the Bob Kuhn Prairie Classic in Hayes. So there you go. Get you caught up on all the local sports here in the first segment. Okay, let's get to a break. When we come back, we will talk some NFL football. I've got a question to be answered from producer Grandpa Gershon. I appreciate him playing producer on that. It's fantastic. We'll get some thoughts on that, and we'll also talk some college basketball a little later on in the show. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Friday.
Drive into the new year with incredible deals at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Right now, get a $3,000 total cash allowance on the 24 Chevy Suburban or Tacoma 25 Chevy Equinox at 2.9% APR financing, plus no payments for 90 days when you finance with GM Financial. Looking for a truck? Get 0% APR on the 24 GMC Sierra 1500 with a 5.3-liter engine for well-qualified buyers and score $3,250 when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
SurePoint Ag System was founded in 2007 to help producers become more efficient by applying the right product in the right place at the right rate. SurePoint Ag, wishing you and yours a very happy new year.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Steve Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Friday, January 24th. And on the overnight south side, March corn lower 3 cents at 4.86 3/4. May down 2 3/4 at 4.96 1/2. July down 2 1/2 at 4.98 1/4. September corn down 1 1/4 at 4.65 3/4. And December corn down 1 3/4 at 4.62 1/2. March soybeans down 11 1/4 on the overnights at 10.54 1/4. May down 10 1/2 at 10.67 1/4. July down 10 1/4 at 10.78 1/4. August down 9 1/4 at 10.70 3/4. Chicago wheat, the March contract lower 5 cents on the overnights at 5.49. May down 5 cents at 5.62 3/4. July down 5 at 5.73 1/4. September down 4 3/4 at 5.87. Kansas City wheat, the March contract lower 6 1/2 at 5.64 1/4. May down 6 1/4 at 5.74 3/4. July down 6 3/4 at 5.83. September hard wheat down 6 3/4 at 5.95 1/4. On the stock market this morning, the Dow down $99 at 44,650. The S&P down 9 at 6,142. The Nasdaq down 32 at 22,006. Gold higher $25 an ounce at 2,789, and crude oil up 17 cents a barrel at 74.77. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, and Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
For half a century, glyphosate has affordably and effectively protected Kansas farmers' crops from invasive weeds. Without it, the impact would be felt beyond the fields, hitting Americans where it hurts, our wallets. That's why the Modern Ag Alliance advocates for farmers' continued access to essential crop protection tools so food prices don't rise even more. Get the facts at controlweedsnotfarming.com. Paid for by the Modern Ag Alliance in support of Kansas farmers.
Help maximize your yield potential and savings with 0% financing on leading fungicides from BASF. You can't beat 0%, especially when you could save big on consistent performing fungicides like Revitec fungicide and Veltima fungicide until March 15, 2025. 0% financing means keeping more in your wallet for better ROI. Talk to your BASF retailer today about the Grower Finance Program. Subject to credit approval, terms and conditions. See BASF Grower Finance Program for details. Always read and follow label directions.
Roof floor now, and it needs replaced. Who are you gonna call?
Roof Masters!
Roof Masters Roofing at Colby has been your premier roofing contractor for over 40 years, offering free estimates on all types of roofs, as well as seamless rain gutters and vinyl siding. So give us a call today. What's that number, Jake?
462-6642. I think you better call
Roof Masters!
Ross Volkmer.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
Max Gershon.
I traded away our washing machine to get him.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Here we go!
We're here on a Friday morning, January the 24th. Expected high of 48 today and sunshine, currently 22 degrees. It will be a chilly kickoff time for the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC Championship game, scheduled for Sunday afternoon, 5:30 Central, 4:30 Mountain Time will be the kickoff time. That game will follow, of course, the Commanders and the Eagles, which will kick off at what is 2 o'clock Central Time, 1 o'clock Mountain Time. That game could be heard on or seen on Fox, and both these games can be heard on 100 Point Through the Ride on Sunday. They will have coverage of the NFC and the AFC Championship games provided by our friends at Westwood One. So, anyway, what do you got?
And also, sorry, there's a little static. Tomorrow, because of the Orange and Black tournament, K-State will be on KXXX 790.
Yes, good programming note. Yes.
Yeah, so that just a note there. K-State will not be on 100 Point Through the Ride. Yes.
K-State West Virginia will be on AM 790 KXXX. For those who don't want to hear Max and would rather hear Wyatt,
which is fair.
Which
is all good with me.
Wyatt, friend of the show. Anyway, so there's been a question that's come across the FB Bank text line and on Facebook with producer Grandpa Gershon. A couple of questions have come across, and the first one that Grandpa Gershon, producer Gershon, threw out there was talking about the AFC Championship game. This question came across, I think, yesterday. Says, so this is the first question. Is this the most meaningful game in Arrowhead history? Is this the most meaningful game in Arrowhead history with the Bills taking on the Chiefs here this Sunday? Max, I'll let you have the floor first because I know you follow this closer than I do. You've been definitely saturated in it more throughout your life. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this with the Chiefs. Is this the most important game in the history of Arrowhead? Now, I know you don't have all the context because you can't go back into back
Montana
in
days,
Boston days. Yeah. So whatever.
I've been thinking about this since you put it, for the last night, I guess, and this morning when I woke up. And I think there's only one game at Arrowhead that I believe comes close to this much impact on both the Chiefs franchise and Mahomes' career and Andy Reid's career. And the only game that I can think of would be that Bengals AFC Championship game in 2022-2023, which was the first of the back-to-back championships. So that championship game is the only one that I could compare to this, because you're coming off of the loss to the Bengals. The year before that, you lost to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl and the Buccaneers. So you hadn't won the Super Bowl. Do you want to create this dynasty? Do you want to continue to make Mahomes one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and Andy Reid one of the greatest coaches of all time? So you had to win that game. That was a career-defining, franchise-defining, dynasty-defining game at Arrowhead against the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl and eventually beat the Eagles. So that's the only one that I think can compare to this. But as far as historical impact that this game could have for the Kansas City Chiefs in putting them in a place that no one else has ever been, being back-to-back champions, going to the Super Bowl and having a chance to three-peat, I would say historically, this is the most meaningful and has the largest impact for any game that has ever been played at Arrowhead.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. I can't go back to the days of Lenny Dawson. I didn't see that. I didn't see the game. I didn't see, Montana game. I didn't see any of that stuff. I mean, I saw maybe a little bit of the Montana. I had an old Montana. Remember the Halloween costumes with the football plastic helmets? Do you ever remember those? I had the Montana one when I was growing up for the Chiefs. But I don't think I can do it. I mean, if you can win this game, of course it's historic because who else has played for is the Patriots played for 3 consecutive Super Bowls? Have they ever played for 3 in a row?
I don't think anyone's ever played
for
3.
Played in 3.
I don't think anyone's ever played in 3 in a row.
Consecutive Super Bowls. So for historic purposes, yes, it probably is the most, most meaningful game in Arrowhead history. If they can find a way to get this done. So it would mean that once again, they're going to play for 3 Super Bowl championships. There's no guarantee that they're going to, win a third one. But at the same time, I think this probably is the most meaningful game when you put it in that perspective. But I can't go back to Lenny Dawson. I'm sure there were some. Was Super Bowl 1? No, Super Bowl 1 wasn't played there in Arrowhead, so I doubt that. So I would have guessed this would probably be the most important game.
The other thing that I was thinking of, it made me think, well, what's the most important game in Mahomes' career? Going outside of Arrowhead. And I think there's 2 that outside of the ones I just mentioned, and of course Sunday, and then going back to that Bengals win in the AFC Championship. I would say the Bills game last year on the road, his first road playoff game, was one of the most important games in his career. And then, unfortunately, as a Chiefs fan, I arguably think that had the chance to be the most important game in his career was that Super Bowl against the Buccaneers. He had a chance to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and he didn't capitalize. Well, I guess no one capitalized on the Chiefs team that day. But that would have been arguably the most important and meaningful game in his career. But, of course, that was in Tampa, not Arrowhead. So, there's been a lot of big games. You can talk about the Titans in 2019, 2020 in the first Super Bowl run at Arrowhead in that AFC Championship game. And that was definitely meaningful. But I think going into a game, it's hard to find a game that's ever been played at Arrowhead that has this much of an impact leading up to it. Just already, the narratives and the meaning of a win or a loss. I don't think there's ever been this significant of history on the line for a Chiefs game at Arrowhead. That's just my thoughts.
Some text chiming in throughout this conversation. Michael chiming in, of course, our resident Broncos fan. He says the 94 game when Elway versus Montana at Arrowhead was bigger. That's his opinion. Listener Mike on the FB Bank text line, 785-899-2222. And also listener David chimed in with the same exact thought. The Buffalo Bills played in 4 consecutive Super Bowls, of course, in the 90s. Did not win any of them, which is ultimate heartbreak. But once again, we're talking about the biggest game in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Bills did not play there.
And, going to that 4th Super Bowl, there's this for Josh Allen.
Okay, quick question for those Chiefs fans out there. When Mahomes went to his first Super Bowl, did they have home field advantage to get that done? Did they go through Arrowhead to do that?
Yeah. So it was.
I think you could argue.
That's what I was saying. The Titans game.
So you could argue that is probably, I don't know who that was. I have a hard time remembering all this stuff.
It was the Titans.
Okay, so the Titans. You could argue that was the biggest game because that gave Mahomes and the Chiefs the confidence to do what they have done ever since. So you could throw an argument in there that the first time they did it was the biggest because since then they've had the confidence and the belief that they could do it all the time, and they've done it ever since.
Well, I think you could also say then, the 2018 AFC Championship game, Mahomes' first year starting was at Arrowhead against the Patriots, and they had been there before, and that's kind of why I kind of maybe shy away from that Titans game. But I mean, that's obviously going back and looking. But I'm saying leading up to the game, I don't think there's ever had more of a historical meaning and an impact to a game at Arrowhead Stadium. I think it's hard to argue against that. But I think for Josh Allen, and that kind of goes into our next topic, he has a chance to, in my mind, these are the two scenarios for him. He can be the next Bills quarterback like Jim Kelly, who lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. He would lose 4 playoff games to the Kansas City Chiefs in a row. Not in a row because they lost the Bengals in between there somewhere, but 4 straight to the Chiefs that they've lost in the playoffs if you're Josh Allen. Or can you become the next Peyton Manning kind of figure? Because Peyton Manning was able to knock off Brady. What was it, once or was it twice that he did? Or was it just once where he beat Brady in the playoffs?
I think it was twice.
Was it twice?
I mean, I think he did it with the Colts, and then he would have had to have done it with the
Broncos.
Broncos, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. So look, Allen's got to win this one. He has to win this one.
By the way, the Michael chimed in. He wanted to know that was a question about Elway, Montana. They did face off in 2 NFL games back in 1994 and 1993, but both of those games were played in Colorado, from what it says. So they did not play. So no, none of those happened in the history of Arrowhead. It looks like. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me.
So Brian commented saying 3 teams have made it to the championship game after going back-to-back. 76 Steelers, 90 49ers, and 94 all lost. So I'm assuming he's been in the conference championship game. So there's never been a team that's won back-to-back and then made it to the Super Bowl, which is just another reason why this is such a historically meaningful game.
I can get behind that this is the biggest game. This is the biggest game in Arrowhead history. Let's transition to the next game. Next question here. This was brought up by a very good listener in Colby, an unnamed texter. But I do see that number, I believe, is from Colby that chimes in. And they wanted to know, where does the Mahomes-Allen rivalry rank in the court? And personally, I don't think it ranks that high, in my opinion. It doesn't rank that high. And I went digging for some stuff, and I went diving. They actually had an article on this. Did CBS Sports last year?
Yeah,
did this last year, and they had Mahomes and Allen at number 6.
Yeah.
So ahead of them, they had Favre versus Steve Young, would have been Packers and 49ers. They had Terry Bradshaw and Kenny the Snake Stabler, Steelers and Raiders, which that was from the 70s, 72 to 76. Eli Manning and Tom Brady at number 3.
Yeah.
Number 2, Troy Aikman and Steve Young, pretty much all throughout the 90s. Those 2 teams met off trying to make it to the Super Bowl. And pretty much the winner of that game ended up going and playing for the Super Bowl each time. And the number 1, of course, thinking most of our minds recently is Brady Manning.
Right.
I think the reason why I'm not putting Josh Allen and Mahomes there is because Mahomes has dominated. A rivalry to me means that you get someone that wins it every now and then. And really, when it's mattered the most, Josh Allen hasn't done that. No offense to him, but it's the truth.
No, and I think that's another reason why I don't know if this is necessarily a great quarterback rivalry as much as it is a great team rivalry, because these teams make it and seemingly play each other every single year in the playoffs. Even though the Chiefs haven't lost to the Bills in the playoffs, they play each other in the regular season a lot, and the Bills usually get the upper hand in that fight. So I think I feel like it's more of a great team rivalry for whatever reason than it is a great quarterback rivalry. And it's also because Josh and Mahomes golf in the they get along very well in the offseason. Like they're buddies. They really are. And I think
you still think about that. What was it on the golf the
coin flip?
The coin flip. Yeah.
They're good. They're buddies.
Biggest fear is a coin flip.
They're buddies, and they're also they're two good guys. At the end of the day, they're fierce competitors, but they're two. It's just for some reason there's just something there that there's no animosity between the two quarterbacks that makes me be like, this is more of a Bills-Chiefs rivalry than it is a Mahomes-Allen rivalry. So I agree with you. I don't think it's one of the top 5.
Where does Mahomes-Burrow stack up against Mahomes-Allen?
See, that's another one that's similar to what I'm saying, where it's the Bengals.
Do they have respect for each other?
Chiefs. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'm sure they got respect. Do they have?
They have respect, and but the talking between the Bengals and Chiefs never comes from
the teams.
Mahomes
it comes
and
from
Burrow.
the mayor. Everybody.
Well, it comes from the mayor. It comes from Jamar Chase. There's that great clip of when the NFL releases the top 100 of Jamar Chase. They tell Jamar Chase, who's the number 1 player in the league. This was after the Eagles Super Bowl where Mahomes won the MVP. And he goes, I'm not saying him. He's great. I respect it, but I'm not saying him. I'm salty. They've eliminated us back-to-back years. I'm salty. I'm not saying him. So there's that. There's real anger and hatred in the Chiefs-Bengals rivalry that I feel like that puts it over the Bills in my mind, that there's real hatred. There's no smack. There's a mutual respect out of both franchises. There's not a mutual respect between the Bengals and the Chiefs. So in my mind, that's a bigger rivalry, even though it doesn't happen as often.
Right. That's an interesting question. Larry chiming in with some thoughts on the Bills. We were talking about losing 4 Super Bowls in a row. Larry goes, I remember those Bills Super Bowls. I recall someone told me that Bills stands for, boy, I love losing Super Bowls.
That's crap. Never thought about that.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that.
That is
all right.
fantastic.
Before we get to break, let's make some predictions on this weekend. Let's start Commanders and Eagles. We'll start there. Lincoln Financial Field. Once again, it is a 2:00 Central Time, 1 Mountain Time kickoff. You can watch it on Fox, or, of course, listen on 100.3 The Ride. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders against Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. Where are you leaning here? Right now, Philadelphia, by the way, a 6.5-point favorite.
Ridiculous. 6.5 is crazy. But I feel like I say that every week, honestly, with every spread. Have I ever said a spread is not ridiculous? And I'm always wrong.
Oh, that spread's right on. I love it. No, it's ridiculous.
No, I'm never on with the spreads, and that's why I don't gamble, because I'm terrible. I'm so bad at that. It's always funny how that works. Is like the people that know less about sports always win that kind of stuff more than the people that do, for whatever reason. Anyway, I am leaning Eagles because I see Jalen Hurts Mahomes Super Bowl again. But gosh, is it hard to say Jaden Daniels can't get it done, because that Eagles team is flawed. They are flawed in my mind. That, if you make Jalen Hurts throw the ball, the Commanders have a good chance. I'm leaning Eagles, but it's not a confident pick. I'll say that. It's not a confident Eagles pick.
They know each other very well. This will be the 3rd time they've played this season. And it was a split. Eagles won earlier in the year, 26-18, and then more recently, the Commanders won 36-33. And remember, if it wasn't for a couple of fluky things, I don't think the Commanders win that game. The Commanders are on a very special run. They really are. I mean, and sometimes those special runs are hard to stop. I just think the Eagles, and I've said this before, and I felt this way for a while, you take it, especially when Detroit got hurt with their defense and they did not have the same strength defensively. The Eagles, to me, were the most complete football team, maybe besides the Chiefs. I thought they had great running back. They've got a great, their offensive line is elite. They're really, really good. And so I guess, and their defense, I think, has been really solid throughout these play. I mean, think about the Eagles defense. They've held Lamar to 13 points. They held the Patriots. Let's see, that's preseason. Where am I going here? They held the Rams to 22, held the Packers to 10. I feel like they're going to limit that Commanders offense with their talent and depth, and I think the Eagles do get it done. I don't know. 6 points, that is a wide spread, but I think they're actually I think they might even cover. I think they win by a touchdown.
I'm like changing my mind as this happens. The Commanders remind me, they remind me of your Diamondbacks in a similar way.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, though? They weren't good last year. I didn't have really high expectations this year, and then they got hot at the right time, and they made it all the way to the World Series, just like the Diamondbacks. Same with the Commanders. So I mean, I want to flip my pick so bad. I want to flip my pick. I'm doing it.
I'll give you the right if you want to flip it. I don't care.
I'm flipping it. I'm flipping it to the Commanders. This is gonna be close. This is gonna be fun. And then Chiefs Bills. I've got the Chiefs winning this one. I'm still I got them winning as 26 to 23.
Okay.
26 to
But
23.
your field goal at the gun to shatter the hearts of Bills fans again?
No, I think the Chiefs defense is going to come up with a stop at the end of the game.
I am picking the Eagles to play in the Super Bowl, and Grandpa Gershon wants to know my pick, and I've thought about this a lot over the week. I don't think it's happening. I don't think three-peat's happening. Okay. There's a lot of pressure on Kansas City to get this done. There's a lot of pressure to get it to 3 straight Super Bowls. There's a lot of pressure to win 3 in a row. If you're the Bills and you're Josh Allen, your speech going into this week is, boys, we have no pressure. Nobody thinks we can win. Nobody thinks that I can beat him. Like, we can't do anything. We're not going to win this game. Let's just go there and not even worry about it. They will play free. And I'm not saying Kansas City is going to play tight, but I think because the Bills play free, I think that's why I think they actually get this win. I think Buffalo runs the ball. Kansas City, I saw this great stat on Breakfast Ball this morning. It was great. Kansas City weeks 1 through 10 was an elite rushing defense, allowing about 80 yards per game. Ever since then, they played the Bills. Ever since they played the Bills, they have not been able to stop the run. What do the Bills do good? They run the ball with their backs and with Josh Allen. I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to hold on to the ball. They'll keep it away from Mahomes as best as they can. And I'm not trying to say the Chiefs defense can't get off the field because they can. They're very good. There's just something in my gut that says that I think Buffalo gets it done this time. It seems, it'd be the storyline. Oh, the Chiefs are playing, and then they can't get it done. They're right there at the finish line, and they just can't get to that 3rd consecutive Super Bowl to win 3 in a row and do something that's never been done. And so I think it's Josh Allen that plays spoiler. And I'm actually going to say I think it's going to be like Bills. Give me Bills 24, Chiefs 20, something like that. 24-20 Bills. It'll have to be a low-scoring game. I don't know.
The Bills
I think it would have to be a low-scoring game, but it takes up a lot of points.
It takes an ugly. You got to play ugly if you want to beat the Chiefs. You have to play ugly.
That's why I think they're going to. I think it's going to be one of those games. The best way to flush for the Chiefs would be if you're Josh Allen, you get in 3rd and 3 of most of the game, and you convert.
Yeah,
you just break the will of that defense. Like, we cannot get off the field because they're just, that drive that Notre Dame had against Ohio State, first opening drive.
Yeah,
those type of drives.
Right,
3rd and short.
That's why I'm saying you got to play ugly.
Ball, and you can't get off the field, and then that does not allow Mahomes to get out on the field. Now, Mahomes can score in the blink of an eye. Yes, we know that, but there's something in my gut, and I will not be mad if the Chiefs win. I will be happy for them. But there's something in my gut that says Buffalo wins this thing, and I'm taking 24-20 Bills.
Here's my thing. Late in the game, I'm taking Spags over Allen, and I'm taking Mahomes over McDermott's defense. And that is what I think will decide this game.
Okay. It's perfectly fine. There's just something about it that says to me that I think this is going to be the Bills' chance to get this done. They don't have any pressure to win anything. I'm not saying the Chiefs put pressure on themselves, but they got to feel some.
I don't think that's
necessary.
necessary.
For the Bills, I just don't think if you're the Bill, if you lose again, what does it matter if you're Josh Allen? Lost again. Yeah, so what? I can't beat him. Whatever. Keep going on. I'm getting married to Seinfeld. I'm good.
I'm not sure that that's how he thinks about it.
Oh, I doubt it is, but
sometimes
you have to kind of create that persona in your mind to be like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's just go play. Yeah. And I think the Bills have ran the ball so well, and that's how you beat the Chiefs. You run it, you keep it away from them. And if they can do that, I don't know.
If they can do that, I agree. If they can do that, if they can run the ball, they'll win.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but one of my producer Gershon wanted to know.
I agree.
24-20. So
if they run the football well, they'll win the game. I agree with you. Okay. I agree with you.
All right, we got to get to a break. We'll come back, wrap it up with a little college basketball and the walk-off. Another head coach is hired in the NFL. That's next here on the Morning Blitz.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out their great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
It's not just sports, it's your morning game plan.
I don't even believe you have a plan. I have part of a plan. That is not a plan.
This is the Morning Blitz.
All right, wrapping up a show here on a Friday. A little college basketball. Last night, wanted to highlight this. Fort Hays Tech Northwest, Colby Community College, both on the hardwood last night. A pair of losses for the Tech Tigers. DeKing Smith and Drees Williams each scored 20 points apiece at Coffeyville, but they lose 81-75. They were down pretty big at halftime. They had a good second half to come back and lose that thing by 6. Fort Hays Tech Northwest women lose at Coffeyville 79-35. Tech Tigers are at Hutch on Saturday. Ashante Suddington scored 18 points to lead the Colby women to a 64-38 win at Independence last night. Colby men, though, gave up 104 points, which was a season high, and a 104-86 loss to Indy. The Trojans will be in Coffeyville coming up on Saturday. Also Saturday, you've got Kansas hosting 7th-ranked Houston, K-State hosting 23rd-ranked West Virginia. So a couple of very challenging games for the Wheat State crew. You've got Colorado at Arizona Saturday. Nebraska visits 18th-ranked Wisconsin on Sunday. As Max mentioned earlier in the program, K-State basketball will be on AM 790 KXXX on Saturday with West Virginia K-State because the Eagles will be on 100.3 The Ride. So thoughts on Kansas-Houston real quick.
I'm fired up. Thank God it's at home or this wouldn't be close.
That will be nice. And Kansas State at West Virginia, number 23. So there you go. A quick look at college basketball this coming weekend. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Listen to those highlights, Max. Just think about all the great things that Jim Nance has seen. Guy has seen a lot.
Sure, they got 2 Jim Nance calls in there.
By the way, Jimmy Nance, a Houston grad. Don't know if you knew that. Houston Cougar.
Yeah, I think I did know that.
Him and Freddie Couples, the golfer, roomed together, I believe, at Houston.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's a legendary room.
I know. Walk-off, another head coach hired in the NFL.
Yeah, Liam Cohn, but it's a weird thing.
It's a weird story because
very
they
weird.
offered him the job. He said, no, thank you. They fired the Jags, go around and fire Trent Baalke. Cohen says, okay, I'll take the job. So I'm guessing that led to Baalke getting fired.
But he got extended by the Bucks just a few days ago and then ghosted them. It's a very, very odd story that there's something missed. There's something missing.
There's something fishy going on.
There's something that is missing, and I don't know if we'll ever know, but hopefully we do.
No, I doubt it. But there's a stench. There's a stench
Definitely.
coming out of Jacksonville, and there has been for a long time. And it's kind of unfortunate because they're wasting.
That might just be Jacksonville, though. That just might be the scent of Jacksonville.
It could be, but that's the problem is they're wasting a really good quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. I think he's really talented. But
I do like the hire, though.
They do not. I hope it works out because I'd like to see Trevor Lawrence get going. Because I think when he's on, he's really good. But they just have not done a good job developing him or helping him develop along the way. All right, that'll do it for our show today. Thanks to those for listening, chiming in on the EpiBank text line and on Facebook. Enjoy the AFC playoffs. Enjoy college basketball. And heck, get there early today for the Orange and Black Classic or any other tournaments going on. There's a very busy weekend of sports. We'll be back to recap it all on Monday. For Max, I'm Ross. We'll see you then. It's been the Blitz. Have a good week.